Welcome to this week's edition of the Belau Report. I'm Jane Belau. Our guest this week is the Olmsted County Board of Commissioners Chairman, Gregg Wright.
Yeah, thank you, Jane.
And we welcome you back. And you've had a very productive year.
Yeah, it was a very good year.
And your chairmanship only lasts until January, right?
That's right. I'm done at the end of December, and a new chair is elected at the first meeting in January.
Okay. And who will it be this year?
It will be Sheila Kiskaden.
Okay. And you are going to take us back in review of 2023.
Yeah, great.
Okay, let's start with new commissioners.
Oh yeah, well we had 4 new commissioners in 2023, which have some challenges because, you know, we like to keep the continuity going in the county government. But I must say that they all did really well. We did have a lot of orientation sessions so they could learn all the different parts of the county, and they did their homework really well. So they've had a year now, so they're going to be veterans in 2024.
Okay. Now, when will your elections take place?
The elections for the new officers take place the first Tuesday in January. So
okay.
That'll be the election. So they elect a chair and a vice chair during that time.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
And they're both in line?
Yeah, they're both. Yeah, they're both ready to go. So I believe the vice chair is going to be Mark Tyne.
Okay. Good. That will be great.
Yeah.
All right. Now, public health care insurance research.
Well, that's right. So 2023 was a very difficult year because it was following the pandemic. And during the pandemic, nobody that was on county services and county assistance was kicked off the health care insurance. So everybody kept. But in 2024, the federal government says that everybody has to be renewed. So just to make sure that they all qualify. But for the county in Olmsted, that was about 40,000 different clients that we had to go through all of their information to make sure that they were eligible for insurance. So that was quite a task and done in quite a short period of time.
And
so,
is this private insurance or government provided?
Medicare. Right,
Medicare.
right. It's government insurance, yep.
Okay, so 40,000 people.
40,000 clients, yep. That's a lot. And our staff did a really nice job getting through all of those and to make sure that no families had any gaps in their insurance.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good. The best place to work.
We were also recognized in 2023 by Workforce Development for one of the best places to work in southeast Minnesota. And of course, as a commissioner, I'm very proud of that because we are in competition for employees just like everybody else is because, you know, there's a shortage out there. But we do know that people enjoy working at the county. They have good pay and good benefits. And so it's very good at retaining as well as attracting new. And in 2023, we did a survey of our wages, and we did bring up the wages at the very low end, so the very entry level, because that's where a lot of our competition was. So we're doing quite well. It was very nice that we were recognized as one of the best places to work.
Our neighboring governor, Kristi Noem, is really advertising for workers for, I believe it's South Dakota.
Yep.
And she is really aggressively pursuing this in a big way.
Well, everybody is.
Yeah.
There are just not that many workers out there for the number of jobs that are available.
Yep. And that's also true across the state of Minnesota.
Yes, that's right, across the state of Minnesota. So, and you know, the state of Minnesota, we can be very lucky that we're living in Minnesota because the economy is doing really well. So we are maintaining our employment across the state of Minnesota. The revenues for the state are continue to go up. People are still shopping. They have a good appreciation and feel good about the economy. So we're very lucky to be living in Minnesota.
Okay, well, that's a lot to be said for the county.
That's right.
Okay, a new nature center.
That's right. Our new nature center opened in 2023, $7 million project. And I must say that I want to give thanks to the Friends of Oxbow. Those people, you know, it's a 401c3 organization. They raised over $1 million to help outfit and to build that nature center. So people in Olmsted County are very generous. We really appreciate that. And it's a great new building. If you haven't been there yet, that take your family out there and see the nature center, as well as the new entrance to the zoo, and spend some time looking at the animals as well.
And that used to be called what?
Well, it was always the Oxbow Nature Center and the Zollman Zoo. So it's still called the Zollman Zoo, which was started, I don't know, about 40 or 50 years ago by a veterinarian in town, Zollman, who started that. So
Paul?
people are very generous in Olmsted County with their gifts to the county.
That's good. Okay. And they were awarded $23 million
That's right.
by the state legislature of this past year.
Right. Well, I'm very appreciative of our state senator for Olmsted County and, or I should say state senators, because both of them work together to get us more funding, as well as our state representatives. So it was a very good year for Olmsted County at the Minnesota legislature, $23 million in bonding altogether.
Why don't we name those?
Name the what?
The legislators.
Well, Carla Nelson was one of the senators. Bowman is the other senator. We have Representative Hicks, Representative Andy Smith, or the other ones from Rochester.
Good.
Were very, very helpful.
Good, 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 good.
So of that 23 million, 10 million of them go for the new materials recovery facility, which we're going to start building this year. 8 million for the Grand Park Exhibition Center. And we also want to add on to that, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And then we got 5 million for the Highway 14 and County Road 44 intersection, which should start construction in 2024 as well.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay, now do you have all that money in the bank?
Well, I'm not sure how that comes from the legislature, but I do know that we have to go through a state design process, and it is through the state design process for the Grand Park, and for the design for the intersection has already started.
Okay. So, then the opioid
settlement? Yes,
Yes.
we got $7.2 million, but that's going to be spread over 18 years from the opioid settlement. And that's a lawsuit that the state of Minnesota had against the manufacturers of the opioids, and we received that funding. And so that money is already in process, and we've designated the first part of that money is going to, in the short term, go for better access to naloxone, to connect people to recovery programs, to reduce the harm that opioids have caused, and to put money into education to prevent people from abusing the opioids in the first place. So it's a good program. And now also part of that money we designated to use for the community outreach team. Now the community outreach team was started a couple years ago, but we only had 4 people in it. Now with the opioid settlement, we were able to hire 3 additional people, and then the city of Rochester gave us funding to hire a 4th. So now we're up to about 8 people in that category. And that's been an extraordinarily successful program, because these people in their community outreach take 911 calls that they can go out into the community that doesn't need a police or a deputy or someone from the fire department to go to. And generally it's dealing with overdoses, emotional outbursts, behavior issues that really don't need an armed response, but it does need somebody to help these people with their situation. And then with this money, we also have enough for 24-hour coverage, 7 days a week, and time to follow up with these people so that they can recover and get back on their feet. So it's a great program.
That's county-wide?
That is county-wide. That is correct, Olmsted County.
And it counts the city of Rochester?
Right. That includes the city of Rochester. That's right. So we work with the Rochester Police Department as well as with the county sheriff's office.
Okay, that's good. Public health reaccreditation.
Right. Well, that is something very good for the people of Olmsted County. Is that Olmsted County is one of the few counties in Minnesota that is accredited nationally by the Public Health Association. And it just assures the people of Olmsted County that we are doing the right things, that we have strategic plans in place to take care of the public health in Olmsted County. And it just demonstrates to the people that we are far ahead of a lot of other counties, not only in Minnesota, but the rest of the nation.
And the expanded Justice Tower services.
The Justice Tower, of course, has gone through over a year now of remodeling, because we received another district judge, which means that we have to have more courtrooms, and we have to have courtrooms for felony cases, which they're generally larger. And then we also have to have spaces for the jury deliberation and the jury rooms. And we have to make sure that we have hallways to separate the people that are accused as well from the jury and from the general public. So that has been completed now, and that's on the 4th and the 5th floor of the Government Center, which now we're referring to as the Justice Tower. And so that's been completed and in use right now. But that was a very large undertaking to remodel those rooms in those buildings. And of course, we displaced some people because there were people there already. We had to move them to other places for a while. Now they're back in. And then also associated with the Justice Tower is the Dodge Olmsted Community Corrections, which are back in place now again. So it's quite an undertaking, but that's been done in 2023.
And that was discontinued for a while, wasn't it?
Well, it was never discontinued. We had to build a temporary courthouse while the remodeling was being done.
Okay.
So now the remodeling is done and we can start to move everybody back again.
Okay, good. Because that was a good program when it was started.
Oh, yeah.
And and it continues to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Regional Public Safety Training.
That's right. We started in 2023 a 17,500 square foot regional public safety training center. The foundation has been laid. The landscaping or the scraping of the site has been done. So that should be completed in the fall of 2024. And that will help all of our public safety officers, including the Sheriff's Department, the fire departments, EMTs, for training to make sure that their training is at the expectation that we think it should be to serve the people of Olmsted County. And there will be some offices out there for the sheriff to create some efficiencies for the sheriff's office as well. So it should be a very nice building.
And what it does for the city, the county.
Yeah, the city can use it, the police department can use it, but the police department might have some of their own plans as well. So we'll see, but it will be there, and we're always willing to cooperate.
Okay. All right. And drinking water protection.
Right. Well, you know, the county is very much involved in environmental issues. Generally not the same environmental issues as the nation is concerned, because most of the people are concerned about fossil fuel and the carbon that puts in. But the county has very little control over national issues. But what we do is we focus on things that we can do in the county. And one of those things that we can do in the county is to make sure that our groundwater is protected, and it's protected from nitrates that do seep into the ground. So what we did is we started on a program that we know that can be successful in reducing the amount of nitrates, as well as planting crops that uptake the nitrate before it gets into the groundwater. And so in 2023, we had about 7,000 acres of land that farmers had used to put into this process. Some of those acres were used with our incentive that we planned, and some of them they did on their own voluntarily. And the county put in $3 million into this program, but it was so successful that we decided to add another $2 million to this. So $5 million in total. Now the concern that the county has is that this program will probably run out of money in 2025, but we're hoping, because it's so successful and because now that there is some recognition of the nitrates in groundwater at the national level, that maybe the state of Minnesota or the federal government will pick up the funding so that we can continue this. It's been very successful, and I've got to compliment the farmers in Olmsted County as always also looking at the environment and making sure that not only the soil is protected, but the groundwater is protected for future generations. So it's a great program. Everybody's benefiting.
Okay. And housing and homelessness,
right.
That's a priority.
Oh, it has been a priority, and it will continue to be a priority. But the county does collaborate with the city and the HRA, and we have plans to work with the city to increase the number of houses for low income. And of course, the city is interested in increasing the number of housing for the workforce. And with the announcement of Mayo Clinic that they're going to put $5 billion into the Rochester economy over the next few years, we know that we're going to need those houses. And the way to bring down the cost of housing is to increase the supply. So we have plans that are in the process to do that. And as far as homelessness, we're working on making sure that we can prevent homelessness in the first place. And one of the things that we did in 2023 is that we added 2 social workers to the school system to work at the school system level with families that are experiencing the threat of homelessness. We do know that if we can keep kids in stable homes, that they do better in school, and this is very good for the graduation rate and very good for the future economy, that we have an educated workforce. So it's very important that we work with the school districts and we work to resolve homelessness before it starts. We also invested money in transitional homes for people that experience a sudden emergency. They might lose their home for whatever reason. So we have a place for them for 90 days while we get them back on their feet. And then we also bought a residence that could house up to 12 families, because that's one of the other areas that we were short on is housing for families. And we can house up to 12 families. That should start sometime in 2024. We're remodeling that building right now to make it useful. And we will be working with a nonprofit to manage that house. Family Promise will help us with the managing it. But then we'll provide caseworkers, or social caseworkers, for those families to make sure that they can get employment and make sure that they can get back on their feet and then eventually move out into more stable housing.
Well, does that include the new building? I think the former law enforcement and county building that they were attempting to buy but did not get the money for?
You're talking about the Old Town Estates, maybe, building? That's still in the works. We did not get funded to buy that, and we did not get funded to use it for emergency overnight sheltering. But that's still in the process. The county board is still talking about that building. The purchase agreement has been extended, so we have some time to talk about it. But we still will have to talk with the community about what we're going to do with the overnight sheltering. And that is a discussion that still has yet to take place.
Okay. And strategic planning?
Well, yeah, we've been involved in strategic planning all of last year. Hopefully the strategic plan will be done in 2024. We're doing that. But the county needs a plan and a way to measure how we're doing on that plan, and it'll be for the next 4 years. So we're very close to closing that strategic plan. It'll continue, the planning will continue into 2024, but we've been working on it for a while. And again, with the Mayo Clinic announcement, it's more incumbent on the county to make some plans just what this might mean for the county. And we know that we're going to grow, but we don't want to grow without a plan. We want to have a solid plan that makes sense for the county and the region of how that growth is going to take place and where the houses are going to go, and how we're going to provide services for the incoming people that are going to come into Rochester and Olmsted County.
And community partners is just a word for the communities, right?
Right. Well, we work with nonprofits. We work with people that are interested in housing. We work with nonprofits that are interested in taking care of the homeless. I mean, we work with Salvation Army, we work with Catholic Charities, and we work with others as well. So, I mean, we work with those partners to come up with a good plan.
Okay, that brings us to 2024.
That's right.
And what are you doing in 2024?
Well, in 2024, of course, our construction for our intersection at Highway 14 and County Road 44 is going to take place. They will probably also do some planning, if not being able to do some construction on County Road 3 and 5, which is also on Highway 14. We received $5 million of funding from Minnesota Housing. Finally, we've applied for the last 2 years and were denied, but this year we got $5 million in funding so that we will be able to build the low-income senior housing. And that site, the county donated the money, or donated the land for that, and it's on Mayowood Road. It's right next to the Waters senior high-rise as well. So that construction will start this year as well. We're very excited about that, because in the study that we did, the Maxfield study, that low-income senior housing was one of the top priorities. So this will help us. It's about 46 units. And then we will start construction on the materials and the recovery facility out at the Olmsted County Waste to Energy.
And then we have capital improvement funds that we've requested from the legislature.
Well, yeah, exactly. We have a lot of those funds. I just want to check my notes here. 17.5 million that we can use to increase the amount of building out at the, that's correct, 12.5 million for capital improvement for Graham Park. Let's just start there for Graham Park. And we want to add on to Graham Park. So we got money to build the multi-use building, but in order to make Graham Park usable for the community, we have to transform it into more of an urban environment and have opportunities for different cultural groups, families, social community groups to use Graham Park. So we're looking at 12.5 million to improve the buildings and the usefulness of the park. The master plan is out there now, so we'll see more of that stuff going on in 2024. We asked for $1.5 million to bring up the improvement to Lake Zumbro Park. In Lake Zumbro Park should come up to a county park standard. We need some bathrooms there. We want to make it ADA accessible, to launch small craft and improve the fishing pier, because not everybody in Olmsted County has a boat, but they still like to fish, they still like to go to the park. So this will be really good for all kinds of people to be able to, regardless of their income, to use the park. And then $17.4 million to increase the productivity at the waste to energy facility. Now this is another environmental project that we have, because we can improve the environment by increasing the reuse. People bring things to the waste to energy plant which are in great condition. They don't want them, but they're in great condition. So we're going to, with this money, expand the reuse center so that people can come and pick up these items and use them again. And we'll be working with like our low-income folks, and when we build houses and apartments, that people can still come and find some things there that they don't have to buy on the open market, that they can use. And then we're going to build a facility so that we can recover more of the materials to sell on the open market. And then we're going to be working on programs to reduce the amount of trash that goes into the combustion chamber. And that's one of the first things that we're starting on. We have a task force that's going to look at how people can bring their materials to the waste energy facility, to recycle them, to sort them a little bit better, and make more efficient use of that. So the next thing after this for the environment is that we will be looking at probably the next generation of energy, and that's how we can use the waste energy to produce green energy from that. So we're using the heat and the power from the plant probably to, in the future, to produce hydrogen. And the future of energy, of course, is to use hydrogen to fuel our cars, our trucks, our industries, and it is a totally green project. We're very fortunate in Olmsted County that we have the basic tools, the building blocks, to create that next generation. So it's going to take a while, but we're looking at task forces of people that have expertise in those areas to help us design that and build it. And we might not get it done in a very short period of time, but what Olmsted County is very good at is to build the foundation and the building blocks so that whoever comes after us then can use those building blocks and those foundations then to create the environment and the industries that we need. So it's a great project that we're working on right now, and we'll be talking to the people about how we're coming on those environmental task forces.
And you have had a key role in almost all of these projects.
Well, thank you. You know, I did my best to help the county set that direction, get those task forces going, and to look down the road. But I must say, I also want to give compliments to the commissioners that have preceded me, because we wouldn't be where we are today if those commissioners before us didn't also set the stage so that we could take it even farther. So, and that's partly what I think that all the commissioners want to do. Is my legacy will be that I will have created the next level so that people can build onto that.
And that will help the new chair when she takes office.
Oh yeah, sure. And I'm sure that Sheila will do a fine job. She'll build on that too. You know, the other thing that we do at the legislature is that we have people that are very knowledgeable. So Sheila Cascadian has been working on task forces with other counties to reformat the Department of Health and the Department of Human Services. The Department of Human Services has had some struggles over the year and has really not been able to keep up with technology. And so we've been very successful at trying to get the state of Minnesota to listen at the county level of what it is that we need and how they can get that done. And Sheila Cascadian is one of those players in that process that has been very much involved in helping with the Department of Human Services and transforming them into the next generation. We've had Commissioner Senjum, who is very much involved in the environment. So he's been working at levels at the state legislature as well as with our county associations to ensure that we can get funding to make sure that the economy is going to be built on green energy. And I've been working on some of those projects too. I'm very much interested in working on a department on aging, because you know 1/3 of our population is over 65. They are the generation, the boomer generation that built the economy that we have right now. And now it's time for us to take a look at what their needs are. So I will be attending the legislative task forces on aging throughout 2024 and doing what I can do to help convince them that we need to pay a little bit more attention to the aging population.
Well, we want to thank you for your willingness to share all this accomplishment and the planning that goes forward with the new chair. And we will really be grateful for the time that you spent in addition to the traditional commissioner representing the 3rd district.
Well, thank you for your kind words. I'm not going away. I'll still be there. I'll still be working with the Board of Commissioners.
Yes,
And
that's good.
yep.
And we thank you, our viewers, for your interest in Olmsted County and what they've done this year and what they hope to do in the future. And we'll be with you again next week, same time, same channel. Have a very good week and a very good night.